teeth to a gunfight.
We are talking the low-budget B-movie horror Amityville Island. Now, this one is directed by Mark Pololina and stars Danielle Donahue. So just to explain about the Amityville name, in case you haven't watched one of these kind of videos before. So Amityville is a real place in America. There was obviously a famous quote-unquote true case of paranormal activity back in the day, of which they made the Amityville horror. Because Amityville is a real place, the name exists in the public domain, meaning anyone can make a film and call it Amityville something or other. They just can't feature like the real house and things like that. So this is why you have a slew of low-budget Amityville related films. So this one, Amityville Island, and you'll notice on the front that it obviously has this interesting looking possessed shark. Let me tell you, that's only in one very quick scene. So the story here focuses on two female prisoners, one of which was possessed as she bought some toys from the Amityville house on a kind of a garage kind of road sale type thing. And she's ended up murdering her 4 children because she was possessed. Gets put in prison, ends up with this other woman who committed a bunch of murders. And the two of them are shipped off to this secret island where a mad scientist is doing genetic experiments on people to try and create super soldiers. Along the way, various misadventures happen. The demonic entity that's possessing the first woman seems to be able to kind of jump into other creatures and, you know, all sorts of fun mishaps ensue. What will happen? You have to watch the movie to find out. So first of all, let's talk about what works. Okay, be prepared, this is an extremely low-budget film. But man, this movie has so many kind of fingers and so many pies. It's got everything in here bar the kitchen sink. You've got shark attacks, bear attacks, dog attacks, mad scientists, demonic possessions, zombies, prison fights. It's all in there. So lots going on. And some of the stuff is completely nonsensical, of course. In fact, probably most of it. But nonetheless, this movie certainly does have, you know, ambition. Let's just call it that. And, you know, it's a shoestring budget movie. And it's one of those kind of films where I think you can enjoy it for a kind of a cheesy, so bad it's good sort of style movie. But it's just so bananas. One of the things I mean, this is bad, but I still kind of liked it. We have this kind of zombie character that's kind of wandering around the island. This is obviously one of the kind of the failed experiments. And rather than kind of zombie makeup, there's like a huge paper mache kind of mask. And I don't know, it kind of looked quite freaky in a way. And despite the fact that it's kind of breathing in its mouth, not moving, and things like that. I think this movie is actually a kind of a loose follow-on from the Amityville Exorcism, although it does have a few flashbacks to that film, although I don't think it's a sort of out-and-out sequel, so to speak. So if you have seen that film, there's obviously more of the same here. And, you know, the characters are very kind of zany and B-movie-ish. Okay, but let's be honest. This movie is an extremely low-budget movie that doesn't really know where it's going. It's so many kind of plot ideas that some just seem to vanish. For example, we have this reporter who is trying to kind of do an investigation. That plot line is just dropped. It introduces kind of so many things. We never really know what the kind of the entity that is possessing this woman is really about. Like I said, I think if you're expecting some type of shark-related movie, it will be very disappointing to you. This is really just a kind of like a mad scientist movie more than any kind of anything else, to be honest with you. And in that respect, it's obviously a kind of a low-budget one. The acting, yes, it's suitably cheesy. You see people kind of glance at the cameras a few times, and people are struggling to kind of deliver lines and that sort of thing. It's very kind of amateur level stuff for a lot of the kind of the cast here. And the effects are obviously extremely low budget. When we do see our shark attack, it pretty much looks like a cartoon. And some of the, you know, the quote-unquote CGI is literal, just kind of video effects put on an overlay and things like that. It's very kind of low-tech, this movie. It does go at a fair pace because there's so much kind of going on, but I have to be honest with you, this is a real B-movie schlock fest, and I think only going to be of interest to those people who knowingly like bad movies, if that makes sense. So I can't, in good conscience, say this is a recommendation anyway, although it may have some interest for a certain crowd. So we'll give it a 3 out of 10. Certainly not a mainstream attraction, this one. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.